bishop isn't exactly a great piece on e1. I'd have no moves there except for queen g6, which would shred my pawn structure. So queen g3 not really an option. My queen doesn't have a lot of squares here. Again, queen e4, take, knight g5, bishop d3, and or bishop f5. It doesn't look good. So I think I have to go here. Probably only move, but this was my plan. He weakened his king side a tiny bit. We're not threatening anything except for winning the pawn on f3. But we've induced him to weaken his king side a little bit. And it's still hard for white to find really good moves. e4, maybe. But again, you know, rook f4. Then I can play rook f4 with maybe slightly better position. Queen g6 is also possible now. Maybe rook f4 first, followed by queen g6. Maybe queen g6 is stronger because it actually pins him along this diagonal, come to think of it. Whereas rook f4, he can play e5. Although rook f4, e5, I take on f3. Maybe it doesn't matter. Both are good for me. But queen g6 might be a little cleaner. Still not sure I can actually take that pawn. He has some defensive lines. All right. He has ways to defend. I mean, rook e1. And I have knight f6 now. For example. Maybe d5 for white. Yeah, I guess he has to play d5 here. Shuts down my bishop on b7. So maybe it was better to play queen g6. I'm not really sure. Anyway, thanks everybody for joining my stream. I have every day, Monday to Friday, live stream here, playing on Lichess lately. Not always necessarily Lichess. We do think about other sites, but Journey getting in a little bit of time pressure. I like d5 there. Now we have to choose. Queen g6. Queen g6 doesn't seem to do anything now. The other move is rook f8, which looks thematic. Now, I'm not threatening anything concrete, but getting my last piece in the game can't hurt. So did you buy Katrinius' book on the... No. We didn't buy it. I'm not looking to play the queen g6 Scandinavian. Yeah, d5 is solid. And white is hanging on here. Feels like black was a tiny bit better. Maybe still I am. But what's up with this? Now, knight c5, and I think he can't protect anymore. I guess white needed to play b4 there. No, not now. Before. Okay, thanks for the game. So anyway, guys, Monday to Friday. But I'm sorry for that mistake here, guys. I don't know why. I was sure it was Grivas. I had just noticed it. That book, Soon Daddy. I had just seen it, and for some reason in my mind, like this Freudian implantation of Grivas in my mind. I don't know why. I was sure it was Grivas. In my mind, Katrinius would never write a book on such a risky opening. You know, he's so good in such classical stuff like the King's Indian and the Martial Attack with white, like, and also I think he plays the black side of some Sicilians, but he plays a lot of mainline stuff. It was so weird to see him writing a book on a sideline like that. So it sounded like something Grivas would do, you know, because he plays the Queen b6 Sicilian. It's kind of similar. Thanks for the game. So Honorary Citizen, Will Wolf, we're gonna play before the stream is over, I promise. King Caboose is in this challenge list. What I wanted to say, guys, was that every day I'm doing the stream 10 a.m. to 12:30 Central European time. But I also want to remind you that on Sunday night 6 p.m. Central European Time. That's like 5 p.m. GMT and 12 New York time, Eastern Time. If you happen to be up at 4 a.m. in the United States now, which some of us might be, not me, you guys can join my simul too. But here on Lichess, I'm doing a simul at 6 Central European Time on Sundays every week, unless I have to go somewhere, which will be like very rarely. I might go away for a week or something, but can kind of count on it. Streaming live here while playing a simul. Last week we played 20-some players. Might make the time control a tiny bit longer than it was last week. Not too much. Okay, what am I doing here? Yeah, let's see. Knight f3, d6. You kind of tricked me. I was supposed to play d4. I played e3. This is a weak move by me. Too busy talking and stuff. So we're gonna play the King's Indian. Now he exchanges on d4 here, but this is not the same as the other position I had. White's setup is not really geared for a lot of pressure. Maybe it's better to take with a knight there. I'm not really sure, but I feel like black is close to equal here. The black can drift into a worse position. I'm going to try to play a quick bishop b2, and I've got to be very careful now. I might already be in trouble. Well, it's interesting. Yeah, very interesting. So I think this is okay for me. Honorary citizen. Let's create some magic here. Honorary citizen is from Croatia. A lot of good players in Croatia. Guys, if you played knight e4 there, knight takes e4, bishop takes a1, bishop b2, bishop takes b2, queen takes b2, with horrifying threats of knight e5, and white has massive compensation after knight e5, knight takes e5. I don't know. You know, it looks like a very dangerous attempt for black to try to win the exchange there, which would probably backfire. So I think it was prudent of black not to try to take material there with knight e4. I think you're incorrect, Sludgy, even if you are, I am. Pawn structure almost guarantees white an edge. You're talking about this pawn structure? Yeah, the pawn structure guarantees white an edge, but not with my pieces passively placed. So bishop f5. The pawn structure is good for white, soon daddy, but the configuration of my pieces was very passive. Black is pretty well developed here, so that compensates. Unlike the game that I played earlier, where I was more actively developed, it makes a big difference. You know, very relevant where the pieces are. The pawn structure itself is beneficial for white. You guys, honorary citizen, pretty tough active development, you know. Soon daddy, you might want to take a look at some Nesbedinov games if you want to see black winning in this pawn structure. After knight ed4, you had queen takes e4 check. Knight ed4. Knight ed4? I'm not sure what you mean. But anyway. Kind of tough position. I'm just going to develop quietly here with bishop e2. If knight b4, I have rook c1. Journey says, I want to study chess because I'm addicted to it, but I'm also a lazy book reader. Yeah, I mean now, well, more and more people are like reading books on their like tablets and stuff. Kindle or whatever. I guess the published printed book will become a dinosaur eventually. Knight e4 now. Yeah, I mean, we'll start to see what Soon Daddy's talking about. Slowly, the exchanges probably help white. And you know, we'll be back in the situation where white is better. Again, guys, strongly recommend, if you want to learn how to play the King's Indian, you check out the games of Nesmedinov, because he was one player in particular who could make this kind of pawn structure work for black very well. Not easy to do, though. I like the move knight e5. Honorary citizen, you see, this is, yeah, you've got to play actively to make this work for black. I thought about trading bishops on g7, but he has queen f6 after queen b2 check, so it wasn't that convincing. Here, white has a tiny edge, but it's not really a whole lot. I don't want to take on e5, and you know, c5 isn't really ready to be played, I guess. Crypto pawn. You had a line with knight e4 and knight takes e4. Kind of lost. Knight takes e4. Knight takes f3, sorry. We're going to take here to gain a tempo. I'm not sure, though. If I take on f3, he can put the bishop back on c6 and sometimes harass me down the line. Wonder if black is getting close to like a forced draw here in that line. Okay, we'll try to take with the pawn and play for a win, I guess. I think after bishop takes f3, the guy is like making a draw by repetition by force practically there. So the guy, Mr. Honorary Citizen, sorry to call you the guy, but getting low on time. I didn't want to give you a draw by repetition. So here we can try to squeeze black a little bit. It's not much, and I have to watch my king. But I think we can safely play for a small edge. H4? I don't know if I want to do that, you know. Let's get to the center. Honorary Citizen playing pretty well. GM Willwolf. In my world, nothing beats reading a real book. Well, you know, I like it to be large enough that I can actually read the print. Definitely need to get glasses. My whole life I've gone 40 years without the aid of optical assistance, but I'm starting to kind of wonder if it's not time. Too much computer screen, I guess. King h2. King g3. So, Honorary Citizen played, I thought, the early stages of the game very well. But he's drifting. He's a little passive here. Man. Yeah, you don't have rook takes e3 there. Thank heavens. Do you? For a second, I was like paralyzed in fear that black had rook takes e3. What am I doing? It's too good to be true, right? You didn't have any rook takes e3 there, do you? Now white's better. We can try to play for a win here. Honorary Citizen with tons of time on the clock. Maybe objectively this is a draw. But I feel that f5 check is interesting. Takes king up. Rook over, rook takes, rook down. Get the counterplay. f5 check takes, king up, rook g8 with counterplay. So not really sure I want to do that. Honorary Citizen putting us in really bad time pressure here. Still f5 check is an interesting theme. King's about equal strength. What am I doing here? I don't know. I don't think that pawn is really takeable at the moment. But black is hanging on. I don't want to take and give him an outside.